Later, he picks Anastasia up for a date. Again, this is mostly told to us. If the author was that bored with her own story at this point, she should have simply ended things. Half of this need to be cut. There's no reason for this story to be 51 chapters. Hello and welcome to Connotation Points Video Snark. If you came here because you thought that this is an audiobook, please stick around and maybe learn some reading and listening comprehension skills. I read books, discuss what went wrong and how they can possibly be fixed. I'm continuing my read-through of Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. Not the first video, go check out the others, links are posted below. Chapter 45. Anastasia sits around at home not doing anything but watching TV with Lola, despite the fact that she has a lot of stuff that she could be doing. I have a planner full of things to do, but I just can't face it, and I'm too drained to care about the fact that I don't care. I can't work out if I'm evolving or devolving. Honey, the fact that you're now so depressed that you can't even do a single thing tells me that you're going backwards. This is immediately followed by Anastasia moping about the situation with Nate. She feels like Nate is being unfair to Erin, which makes me wonder if she's forgotten every single nasty thing that Erin has not only said to her face, but said as rumors spread around campus, but also terrible things that Erin has done. Which again, how is she somehow going backwards? To him and the rest of the guys, Erin is a villain. How the hell does she not consider Erin to be the villain in her own story? How the hell did we circle all the way back to the beginning of the story? To him and to the rest of the guys, Erin is a villain. He's the bad guy of the story, the unpredictable nightmare coming to ruin everything, when in reality, Erin is a very emotionally immature and misguided man. I've said so many times that hurt people, and it's absolutely true. He lies and manipulates people because it's all he knows. Look, I'm not saying that Erin is on par with Voldemort over here, but at the same time, he's still not a nice person, and he's not motivated to actually change himself. Again, why is she still stuck on this? I thought she'd taken the hint when Nate and Henry told her all of the nasty things that Erin had been doing. Oh, I suddenly remembered that Erin's been forcing her into that business partner couples therapy with the doctor that Erin picked out. The doctor is probably manipulating and gaslighting Anastasia back to Chapter 1 behavior. Except the only reason why she hasn't completely fallen for it is simply because she's since been shown what a healthy relationship is. And then this is immediately followed up by Anastasia admitting that she knows that Erin is a terrible person, that she's ignored so many of his red flags under some sort of almost naive hope that he's actually a good person deep down. I don't need or want Erin's opinion or approval. Then why did you spend an entire page trying to excuse his poor behavior? What is happening? Anastasia mulls over how terrible that Erin has treated her for about half a page before she starts to tell us about how the therapy sessions have been. Emphasis on until, since this is told to us in a super passive way. Say it with me, folks. If the author doesn't care about this, why should the reader? It's hard to comment without actually seeing any of these sessions, but it does sound like the therapist isn't exactly siding with Erin. She's even reported to have called Erin out and told him to stop weaponizing emotions. But so far, Erin hasn't been saying much about Anastasia's own recovery from the things he's done to her, and Anastasia isn't sure if he's angry over everything or if it's simply all in her head. Back in the present, Anastasia blurs out to Lola that she doesn't want to live there next year, but she also doesn't want to live in the hockey house. She wants Lola to help her make a fresh start next year, which I think is for the best. Later, Anastasia stops their rehearsal because Erin will not stop grunting whenever he lifts her. She herself says that it's 12 pounds of muscle, but this is also the same man who forced an eating disorder onto her for his own convenience, so I don't know why anybody is surprised about this. Anastasia says that she's seen Erin benching 100 pounds more than what she currently weighs, so she knows that it's not her weight that's the issue. However, as you might imagine, Erin is completely and utterly perfect in every single way, and it's actually Anastasia who's wrong here. Said nobody. Ever. Anastasia is so fed up with his behavior that she leaves the practice, ignoring Coach Brady completely. Chapter 46. Back over with Nate, he's moping around because he and Anastasia are fighting. The other boys come over and make sure that he's okay. He complains about how terrible he feels about getting into a fight with her, but at the same time, it's hard for him to sit back and watch her intentionally sabotage herself by going back to Erin. JJ gives this grand speech about how Anastasia doesn't come from money like Nate, that she has to make sacrifices to ensure her dreams come true. However, I feel like it was a huge swing and a miss, since that's not the point that Nate's making, and it's so frustrating to me because it's like, how do you write this novel about a woman's struggles and dealing with a toxic work partner, yet somehow continue to miss the point of your own writing over and over and over? This goes on for close to 2 pages, and it's so maddening, honestly. Later, he picks Anastasia up for a date. Again, this is mostly told to us. If the author was that bored with her own story at this point, she should have simply ended things. Half of this need to be cut. There's no reason for this story to be 51 chapters. Finally, Nate apologizes for making Anastasia feel like she has to pick between him or Erin. He promises her that he'll always support her dreams no matter what. Anastasia Anastasia tells him about the events at the end of the previous chapter, but randomly says that Aaron was the one who stormed off rather than her. Editors don't know them. After their date, he drops her back at home. She's leaving for a competition in the morning. Nate knows that if he were to come up, she'd be too anxious about him being in Aaron's space and Aaron's behavior. Ugh. Chapter 47. Anastasia does her usual night before a big competition ritual, but as she ticks things off from her list, she feels like something isn't right. She mulls about how the doctor has suggested moving back in might help her fall back into sync with Aaron. But the problem is that there was a reason why she fell so out of sync with him to begin with. Anastasia has now changed so much, and is a kind of change that you can't exactly take back once it's gotten started. Let's face it, after Anastasia found out what Aaron had been doing, that was the breaking point in their relationship, and no amount of couples therapy nor sincere I'm sorries from Aaron is going to repair any of that. It's like sticking a regular band-aid over a severed limb and calling it good. So she calls Nate up to come over, despite the fact that he dropped her off not too long ago and said that he couldn't come in because of Aaron. Now she says that Aaron will be in his room and she and Nate will be in her room. Nate comes over and, well, what exactly do you think happened for the rest of the chapter? Ugh. I'm not looking forward to the blowout fight that I know is coming in the morning for Anastasia having brought Nate over anyway, or whatever the big ending of this book is going to be. We're in the final countdown now, so you know that whatever happens, Aaron is going to be at the heart of it. Chapter 48. In the morning, Anastasia is so anxious that she throws up. And now, I'm not an athlete, but I am a musician, and I've had solos and been up on that stage by myself plenty of times. I've never once felt like vomiting, not even once. Is this normal? I think that she should probably see a doctor because it doesn't seem healthy, or at the very least seeing a different therapist who will help with being so anxious that you vomit. Anyway, the two of them say their goodbyes. Nate has a game against UCLA, and he hopes that the other team having trashed the rink is behind them. I also love how this was the driving force behind Nate and Anastasia hooking up, but it was so quickly dismissed. Oh yeah, it was UCLA. Okay. And after the game, the captain of the UCLA team stops Nate to ask him about the rumor of him doing figure skating. Nate explains what happened and then explains that the figure skater was his girlfriend, so it was all good. However, the captain is quick to ask him if this figure skating couple is Aaron and Anastasia. He goes on to say that he went to high school with Aaron in Chicago and that they're friends. Halloween? Dude, he interrupts, holding up a hand. Aaron got hurt playing football with us. We were drinking and dicking around at the beach having a bonfire. Davey tackled him and landed on his arm. I didn't know he blamed you for that. What the fuck? He hasn't told us any of this. Aha! I knew that it would come out eventually. That lying snake. Obviously, this comes as a huge blow to Nate to find out the truth, mainly because Aaron knew this entire time, yet he worked his injury to get Nate into trouble, all because of Anastasia. Once again, Nate asks the question of why is Aaron so obsessed with her. Nate drives over to watch Anastasia's performance. He was going to do this anyway, but now the drive over is full of thoughts of Aaron's motives. At the stadium, he makes it in time to watch their set. At the end of their performance, Aaron kisses Anastasia full on the lips, which, can't wait to unpack that. Not. Thanks for listening to my Book Snark on YouTube. New videos are up every Monday, but stick around because I sometimes drop random videos on other days too. Just as a reminder, even if you can't financially support me, there are other ways to help me out. The first is watching this video as well as all of my other videos. It's also important to like and subscribe. Finally, you can share this video with all your friends so that they can help as well. If you're already caught up with all of my videos, you can go to Tumblr for my main Book Snarks, always free and updated every morning. Newly added to Patreon is to become a member without paying. You'll get access to the same things on Tumblr, but on Patreon. Supporters can have access to so many more Book Snarks starting at $1 a month. Also new is a 1-week free Patreon trial, so be sure to check that out. Special thanks to Dawn, Phoebe, and Nikki for supporting me on Patreon already. If you want to hear your name in my video next week, either support me on Patreon or make a one-time donation. Do you like my Snark so much that you want me to snark your writing? I do that too. For just $6 per chapter, I will tell you how awful that your writing is. But not to worry if you feel like you couldn't take the criticism. I also offer regular book editing as well, just $10 per chapter. You can contact me on any of my social media platforms if you have further questions. If you want to read some of the things that I've written, you can purchase my works on Amazon. I have a slew of spicy short stories and 2 full-length novels. I also frequently run flash sales on my stories, and if you don't follow me on any social media, you might want to do so just so you know when I might be offering things for free. Links for everything will be posted below. See you next week, guys!